Hi everyone, so today we have an final analysis video for the Senate races of the Florida Senate race between the incumbent Democrat Bill Nelson and the Republican current governor who's running to be the next United States Senator from the state of Florida, Rick Scott. So tonight we'll be looking at some polling data that we've been getting out of the state of Florida. We'll look at the last time Nelson was on the ballot in the state of Florida. We'll look at the primary results from Florida. We'll look at the 2016 results from Florida. We'll look at Donald Trump's approval rating, from 538 and from the Morning Consult in each of the states. And we'll also look at Bill Nelson's approval rating, if I can find it down all the way over here. So let's start off with how the political pundits rate this. All three major political pundits rate this as a toss-up, and I would definitely agree with that. And today, first we're going to start off by looking at some polling data that we have been getting from the state of Florida. The Three out of the 5 most recent polls have Scott ahead by varying margins, and 2 out of the 5 have Nelson ahead, so advantage for Scott. The RCP average right now has Scott ahead by 1.2%, but we have not had much new polling data come out since this Florida Atlantic University poll done back in August. So if I can load it up, we can see that sorry about that. But this shows Rick Scott ahead by 6%, which is very interesting for an incumbent Democrat in the state of Florida in the blue wave year. Again, very, very interesting. But if you are basing your argument solely off polling data, you would probably rate this as a leaning Republican state if it was going for it. So this would definitely probably be a leaning Republican state. But you have to consider polling is not always right, and we need to look at Bill Nelson and Rick Scott's past elections. So in the past election that he was in, Bill Nelson defeated his Republican opponent by 13 percentage points, which is very considerable. So if you are basing your argument based on past elections, instead of it being lean Republican, you would move it 4 spaces towards the Democrats. So that would put it as a leaning Democratic state. So that would give the Democrats the majority. However, that was when the Republican there was not necessarily the best candidate. And you need to also consider that Rick Scott is the incumbent governor, and we need to consider other factors such as primary turnout. There were 1,639,000 votes on the Republican side in an uncontested primary, and I expect a similar amount on the Democratic side. If we go up to the governor race, which should be sort of similar, because people don't really just vote for one person and then not bother to fill in the rest of the votes. And 1,500,000 votes on the Democratic side, 1,600,000 votes on the Republican side for the governor's race. I expect this to be similar for the Senate race. I just can't show because there is no primary data for the Democratic primary. I wish that Politico and New York Times and other websites would release this data. But anyway, we're going to go on to the primary results. And I just want to touch on something very quickly, not really related to the video. This was a progressive upset in the Florida gubernatorial race. The progressive Andrew Gillan defeated the establishment candidate Glenn Graham. And that's very considerable, especially considering that in the Democratic primary in 2016, it went overwhelmingly for Hillary Clinton, Look at Miami-Dade, look at Broward, and look at Palm Beach. All three of these, 74%, 72.5%, and 71%. They went for Hillary Clinton. Now look at these. We have this by a smaller margin, but still a Gillan victory, which is very considerable, a huge swing towards the progressives, especially in these three counties, which is very, very considerable. But back to the main topic of the video, and we're next going to look at some, so if we were basing our argument based on primary data, you would move it back into the toss-up column. However, we have some approval ratings from Trump, which has him +4 in the state of Florida, and Nelson, which has him +10 in the state of Florida. So if we're basing our argument also on that, and based on everything, I still cannot make a characterization of the race of Florida, which means that the United States Senate power is hanging in the balance of one state between the United States Senate race between Bill Nelson and Rick Scott. So anyway, next series we'll be talking about the governor matchup. So first video out for the governor's matchup is for the state of Nevada, which will be coming out later today. This is the current gubernatorial map, and that will be changed very, very, very soon. These are the ones we'll be going off of. However, Nevada will be the first one, followed by after Nevada, we will have analysis of Arizona, Colorado, Alaska, and Ohio, and I'm not going to mention any more than that. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.